Awesome sauce. Here we go. All right. So flying by the frickin' seat of my pants this morning. Shouldn't have been because I was basically up since about 5:30 or something. So I have to wait. Sauce. Here we go. There we go. Flying by the frickin' seat of my It needs to be muted, and I don't know if it is. Yes, it's muted. Yay! Okay. Not that anybody really, kind of shows up on time. Not gonna go there, man. Not gonna go there. So grateful for everybody. It's been absolutely a nutso week. Not really feeling the ultimate last couple of days, but it's all good. We all learn from what's going on. Yeah. Okay. So, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I so appreciate all the new subs and get with that email, give me comments, like, share, subscribe, all that madness. Really loved talking to everybody. And, I bought a new phone. So I got a new day job. I got a promotion to run a day program through the county. And it's kind of fun because I feel like every time I go through a significant shift that I have to do something a little different. Well, today is a little different. And it feels like things have kind of shifted like quite a bit as a collective, I think. So that's been kind of on my mind too. So I hope everybody's doing well. And I actually do not typically prepare anything, but if something hits me as significant, then I'll go ahead and do some dictating into my phone. So yeah, I am a few minutes late going live on YouTube. And if you knew me, that's like, if I have to be someplace at 8 o'clock, unless it's an interview, I'm not really that early, but typically I am 5 to 10 minutes early if I can be. But if it's something like this, I'm early. If I'm going into work, I'm early. I don't have to be there till 8 o'clock. Sometimes I'm there at 7:15 and just getting set up, enjoying the quiet, doing, kind of like collecting thoughts. And I guess it's kind of like a passive mental organizing process goes on. I don't really, sit there and say, I'm driving to work and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then I'm going to do ABC. Because you have to kind of play it loose a little bit because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to be, that you find, that a message that you get. That's like almost guaranteed you'll get a message just like, what happened, and we're not talking about minor things. So I mean, could be is something like, somebody just being arrested, or all the way up to someone passing away. So you never know what's going to happen, so you have to kind of play it loose. So hopefully with this promotion, I won't be dealing with as much of that. And it'll be other things that I'll be able to learn how to manage. So let's see. So with all the changes, I really kind of like this. This kind of fits in. So this came, today's the 21st of September 2024. So at 10:20 p.m. this kind of came. So when you change a culture or a society, they were saying it takes 7 years. So when I got my job where I'm at right now, that was in 2020 in the fall. What's interesting about that is everybody was kind of like, ah, thank God it's Friday, or it's Monday, and I can't handle that. Right? That's just not who I am. So I started with people, everybody I met, I didn't care, and I would say Happy Monday. I wouldn't say good morning because of the how I associate the word mourning is with, going to a funeral and you are mourning someone passing away. You're grieving. So no, I'm not mourning. I am not a morning person. I get up very early in the day, sometimes as early as 3. That's kind of hard, but the point is that making a cultural change, even to a corporation, they say takes about 7 years. Well, it's been 4 years I've been in that building. And I think it took about a year before when I would say Happy Monday, Happy Tuesday, and people were starting to go, yeah, right, whatever, lady. Then I would say Happy Pre-Friday or Happy Post Sunday. So, it just kind of made people, and, walking in some days, it's like on Mondays, I'd say, isn't this like Groundhog Day? I just felt like I just left. And, it kind of gives people a little giggle and brightens it up a little bit. So, I mean, that's me. Oh, sorry. If you heard that dog coughing, she might come over to harass me. But I mean, that's the whole idea, is just kind of shifting your awareness and making you appreciate just things in general. Took about a year before somebody else was just coming back and saying that to me. Happy Monday. Next thing you know, I'm walking in the building and I'm hearing, not talking to me, 2 people, one walking up to the other and saying, hey, happy Tuesday. Like, took about a year for that to happen. I was pretty excited about that. So I think statistics are BS, and maybe if you're working in some cultural structures, yeah, that might have been true. But that was pretty cool. I kind of liked that. Society as a whole, though, yeah, I did hear a long time ago that it was going to be very difficult to make one small change in society. So they can try to change the weather or the currency and manipulate social norms and political perspectives. So, of course, they do that through the programs called TV and news, which is not really new. And that's been pretty much a standard, and it happens fairly quickly. And again, people are realizing that all you got to do to change the narrative of your history is it takes about 3 generations, and they can slowly shift that stuff. People are becoming more and more aware of that, so they're kind of being using a little more, hopefully, critical thinking skills. Yeah. But I think there's one thing that doesn't change that you can see, and you have to step pretty far back to see it. And when you step back, you don't just step back a few days, a months, or years, but sometimes you have to step back in your thinking of maybe even millennia and eons, because the things that have been going on theoretically, of course, it's what we've been told, been going on for eons, right? So this whole, up and, it's like climbing the mountain of struggle, right? To get a better perspective. And you get to the top and realizing that humanity as a whole, we've been in a hole. And we seem to be in a habit of losing our footing just as we're becoming aware of all this stuff. And we ended up getting either tumbling down, which to me is kind of like just giving up, losing your balance, giving up without, trying to hang on and figure it out and make it through, muscle it through. You lose your footing, or sometimes we feel like we get pushed off the edge, right? So it's like there's a cycle of repeat, a cycle of you rinse and you wash it, you rebuild it, and then you demolish everything, and then you rebuild it to see what you can create next. Which it kind of sucks for us who are going through the building process and realizing who and what we are. So the one thing when you really step back is not that about the social stuff or cultural stuff. That's pretty easy to change with programming, programs, TV, new, and is when you step back far enough, it doesn't seem like through that major cycle that covers the millennia and covers the cycles, it's not even really it might be. I guess. Because we're going back only to like the late 1800s. So we're only talking about a century and a half, maybe. Century and a half. That's pretty abysmal, right? That's not even a millennia. This is horrible. I'm wondering if these cycles have been getting progressively shorter. What a bunch of jack wagons. So maybe the thing that we're looking at, because everything seems to be that W word, that it ends up in significant social unrest. And yes, there is a way to overcome, trying to find the right word, right? Because I can't say what I want because of that whole thing. Because if you think about it, it's been the conflicts that have really brought people down. It's the incessant conflicts and contradictions and abrasiveness. And there's like this thing that people don't seem to want to get over with, and they're able to at least struggle. Let's try to change that part of the human condition. Huh? What do you think? Let's try and change that part of the human condition that always makes us. And all right, let's stop right here. So another one of my things about change, so the new job. So I'm thinking about changing the color of the hair. I'm trying to go out to different places and meet different people. And the whole thing is it's like it is a struggle, that in and of itself, for somebody who's basically been living under a rock for the last decades. So it's good to get out. It's good to be uncomfortable in that respect. And that's not even really uncomfortable. I feel a little awkward, socially. I can't say I'm socially inept, but I'm a little reserved when it comes to social interactions. But anyway, but when we encounter those conflicts or somebody that has a different opinion of us, we got to stop getting mad. We got to stop getting PO'd. We got to stop that aspect. Because when I bought, change, yeah. So I decided one of the things that I was going to do when I got the job I'm in right now, it's like, woohoo, I'm going to get me an Apple phone because I never had one before. So 5 years later, I'm stepping in as in a supervisory role. So kind of management, right? Hey, change. It's time to recognize externally to manifest cementing that. So the hair is probably going to change, or some other looks that are probably going to change. So I got an Android. I went back to using an Android. Like, oh my God, you know, I'm not even going to put that into words because I think I'd have to be on like a totally different channel platform thing. But yeah, that is the change that I wanted. And that's the struggle. That's the struggle. I was talking to these two gentlemen. They were brilliant. They restored my hope in well, they may not consider themselves as youth, but when I'm probably close to old enough to being, at least their mother, at least their ma, maybe grandma, not sure. Didn't want to go there. Really, really intelligent. And the one gentleman mentioned to me that he has a strong faith in his religion, which was absolutely beautiful to see, and that he was a prepper. So we had a good conversation. I mean, how long does it take to buy a phone? In and out in 30 minutes. So it was kind of funny because we then started talking about all the other things that were interesting to them and topics of theirs. And what was cool about it was they were both very open to learning about the other perspectives. And I said, so what's the one thing that's different? So bringing up this whole subject of not changing this aspect of the human condition that will stop this cycle. And people don't want to do it. Guess what? Guess what it is? Really simple, really basic. And you're going to say, you lady, that's not the answer. Yeah, you have to defend yourself, but you have to have it from a heart-centered, right? It has to be very heart-centered. Doesn't mean you're not going to have to dodge a few or distribute a few to protect yourself if you're ever in a situation like that. Things are getting violent out there, you guys. So anyway, so the one thing, what's that one thing? All right. I've often said that when someone sends something at you that's unpleasant, whether it's a nasty word, whether it's, have I been 100% successful in refuting this in the way I'm about to tell you? No. Gonna be honest. Gotta be. Am I all right? So the one thing that you have to do is not return to sender. You take what somebody says, you process it, and you say kind of to yourself that they did not send that information to me from a good place. If that's the case, that did not come from a good place. I'm not going to send this back to this person because they're not in a good place. Why do I want to dig their hole deeper? Don't I want them to treat me better in the future? Don't treat others as they would treat you. Yeah, that can kind of have an impact with some people. Not everybody. They're gonna feel justified in slapping you upside. Not advocating violence, but people are gonna feel like verbally slapping you upside the head verbally, and they're enticing you to slap them verbally upside the head. All right, so what does that do? It escalates till you run out of words. Then where do you go with it? All right. So rather than doing that, not taking that person's side, but just saying, okay, I see your point. I don't agree with it, and that's okay. That doesn't mean they even have to be okay with you saying that, right? So you have to kind of take it to the next step. And the one thing that to break this cycle, one thing, and that's forgiveness. Ugh. Yeah, that's a hard thing. No matter what somebody's done to you, I don't care what it is. If you're not ready to do that, guess what? That's okay. You'll figure it out. You hopefully are going to see the reason you're in the cycle that you are in is because of that lack of forgiveness. Shebang. I think that was kind of the point of that. Because when you do that, and I call this phase 2, we are the mighty creators of our realm. And I guess here's the point. What realm are you going to choose to have dominion over? Are you going to have dominion over your own realm, or are you going to give your power away? That's through retaliation. Allowing someone to give you a little poke, and then you're going to turn around and try and poke them back. If somebody poked you and they weren't aware of that, you can say, hey, you poked me. Oh, didn't mean to. And I think you can kind of take that to an extreme, especially in today's society. That can open up a whole new freaking can of worms, because then people are going to say you're going to be hypersensitive. Don't do that either. So if somebody insults you, they may or may not have been aware that they insulted you. So don't take offense. So when you tell them, hey, you know, it kind of hurt my feelings, and, you know, I don't think you meant to do that. Forgiveness. If you do this, this is the impetus for changing to a different track. That will not be a cycle. That will hopefully be an expansion. I don't use the word ascension, because that has a connotation of something being over someone else. Being expanded gives you a greater view. So it's like the difference between looking at a regular camera picture and a panoramic view. You've expanded your awareness of what's in that particular image. And that's kind of the idea. So if we are the mighty creators of our personal universe and our realm, then as a collective, when we agree on a thing, as it were, we should be able to manifest with ease. Right now, that's not happening. I don't care what group you're in. I don't care how hard you pray. Are there some who are more effective in that? Yes. And I really feel like that's something that's more of an internal growth thing. So as a collective, or even as an individual, when we feel something is coming that we don't want, why do we just lay down and accept it? I mean, I heard some people talking about that. It's coming. Oh, you can't stop this. What's coming? BS. That's total 100% BS. Belief system. That's part of your belief system. Now, here's the other thing too. When we lay down, when we give this away, it's because we're giving our power away to someone or something else. And you have to admit that there are those out there that are stronger than who we are, but that's only out of our own limiting beliefs, our limiting BS, right? As an individual, absolutely. My head went back to David and Goliath. He had it in his head. He was already conquered or conquering. He had already conquered. He had already overcome all the other people around him that were on his side of his whatever. I'm not going to use, because that's a whole different. I'm not talking about the actual reality. I'm getting what's real and what's not. The idea is that's all semantics. The idea is of the story and the moral of it. He believed it. The lesson learned is that even the smallest can overcome the largest, and all it takes is the confidence, the self-confidence. So if you want to build on that self-confidence, if you want to build on who you are, and I don't want this to sound like I don't want to get emotional here, because this is where I want to start with people on a one-on-one. And it's going to take me a while because I do work days and I do have other things that I have to do. I mean, I just spent a butt ton of money on my furnace and air conditioner because they both were Michigan, even though I was able to get a thermostat. And I mean, it was just a cluster. So it was not a fun thing. It was very expensive. So it's confidence. So this is what I do. This, not me personally, but what I want to do is help other people reach that level of confidence within themselves. It's not about self-help. This is all about the idea of, even looking in a mirror, you may not see the things that other people see. What you see in the mirror is not what other people see. And if you don't have a mirror that's a critical eye, you're not going to see the spinach in your teeth. You're not going to see the poppy seed. You're not going to see the dirt on your nose. I recently saw a woman who had ordered some squid and there was ink in it and it squirted on her, and she took a napkin and she wiped her face, and instead of going from a few speckles on her face, because it was ink, her whole face was black. And everybody sat there and giggled at it, and I don't think she had any awareness of it, but everybody sat back and giggled because this poor woman in public in a restaurant had squid ink all over her face. But that's the same kind of idea. Are you going to sit back and laugh at somebody because they have squid ink on your face? Because you don't realize the things that you're doing to yourself? I don't think so. And I think you know what you're doing to yourself. It's just how do you help yourself out of that? So it's an empowering experience. And it's not me who does the work, it's you. So that's what my coaching business is about. That's what I do. So you just think about those people who are considered control freaks, and what they're doing to try and control you is because their internal world does not feel like they're in control of it. And controlling their exterior world makes them feel empowered. And I kind of feel like that's what's going on. Don't know about those in the, I'm not pointing up behind me, because they're not above us. Anybody who considers themselves an elite or above someone, they're not. They're just like us in a respect. Unless they're an alien or a lizard. Lizard people. I like the Y-files. But anyway, I'm going to end the live and I'm going to do my little thing that I do on for the Rumble crowd, and I'm going to do the wisdom, and I'm going to do, what's her name? Colette Barron reads the good tarot. All right, everybody on YouTube, if you want to see what we're going to talk about for the rest of this, because I can say whatever the